of building the live video production blueprint. And today I'm honored to have two guests, Irene Chan, who's the marketing manager of BeLive, and Adair Palmer, who is a well-respected producer of shows in Australia. Now, because of time constraints, I'm live here at 3 p.m. It's 10 a.m. on the East Coast. It's currently 10 p.m. in the Philippines, and it's midnight in Australia. So on today's show, you will hear from and see both Irene and Adair, and they'll be appearing on videos recorded yesterday and today. Over the last few years, in fact, since lab days, we've all had this ability to go live when we want on Facebook and on YouTube and on Twitch and on Periscope. And we've learned a skill set. And that skill set is the ability to produce live shows. And there's nothing like live. There is nothing that compares with live for actually being able to tell your story, telling your story and getting people to interact. And it's the interaction whilst you're live that actually makes a good show great. But when you're producing a show for the people, what should you do? That's the first question. If you're a live show producer, what should you be doing? So that's the question we set out to answer earlier this week, and we're back again tomorrow. But today we're talking about best practices, and it's going to be with Irene, who's also going to tell you how to pitch to BeLive. So if you've got an idea that you want to pitch to BeLive, Irene is the person to send it to, and she'll explain what she's looking for. The second question we're answering is, if you don't want to appear on camera, you want to appear on camera, but you don't want to do the buttons, you don't want to play with the buttons and control things and everything, then you need a producer. Now, if you need a producer, what sort of producer do you need? And what questions should you ask them so that when you go live, you know you're actually going to get the product that you wanted? It's your mission, it's your story. They're there to help you tell it. And we got, at the end of this week, we will have, and I'll show it on screen now, the live video production blueprint, which defines what show production is and what client requirements are. And this is a PDF which will be downloadable when it's complete based on this week's broadcasts. And tomorrow, if you want to join us live tomorrow, we'll be refining our ideas about live video broadcasting, and you can join us and have your say before we go off and create the actual blueprint. Now, this is something that we feel is needed. There may be a Facebook group which comes out of it. There will certainly be a PDF, and there will certainly be a book. This is a project which we believe in and which we feel in a position to create, having produced thousands of shows between us, literally thousands of shows, and been live since the beginning of live video on Facebook. And we've used all the platforms. My favorite, of course, is BeLive, and I'm on BeLive today. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to the marketing manager of BeLive, who is, bring it up on screen, and we are linking to a Facebook video. So all I have to do now is to take myself on screen, and for 10 minutes or so, you can listen to Irene. And as I say, Irene does say within this broadcast what you need to do to actually submit your ideas to BeLive and get them acted on. So this is full of information which will help you as a broadcaster. So I'm going to hide me, which makes the video full screen, and I'm going to press play and switch my microphone off. Irene, hello.
Hi, Stephen. Great to be here.
Hi, Stephen.
It's great to have you here. I mean, we go way back. We met around blood times, and we've broadcast together many times. Now, you have a particular story to tell today in relation to live video production. So I'm going to hand over to you And please do tell your story.
Sure, I'd love to, and I hope that it will help people. So, hi everyone. My name is Irene Chan. I'm the marketing manager at BeLive. And one of my favorite things to do as someone who works at BeLive is to produce big shows, such as I usually organize the BeLive birthday. So every October we have a big celebration using BeLive with our community. So last year we did LiveCon. We had like 40 plus speakers in 3 days. And basically, I organize and sometimes I produce the show as well for BeLive and host. So when Stephen asked me if you could share your best practices in like a live video production, I'd said I'd be happy to help, but I can share my story from like a brand's point of view or business point of view. What I can like mainly the question that I would like to answer is like what our businesses and brands are looking for when they want to hire a live video producer. So there are a lot of people actually that are doing this already for a living. Like they provide the entire service, and it also depends on what is included in the services. But in this context, like live video production is basically producing the show. So like right now you're watching this video, I'm on screen, but Steven is actually doing all of the uh, live video production in the background in the studio. And that's basically what live video production is all about. Like if you're already have been at BeLive for a long time, I'm sure you know about live video production and everything, but I just wanted to discuss just in case if this is the first time that you're watching this video or first time watching or thinking about joining live streaming and producing for other people, I thought I'd just cover that. So anyway, if you are offering your service as a live video production, my first tip is for you to be very clear of what you are offering. So a lot of people come to me all the time as a marketing manager at BeLive. They send me pitches, they send me sponsorship pitches, and selling their services as well. So from the brand point of view, I kind of know what pitches work and what we look for also when we're looking for like a host or a producer. So the first thing is to make sure to understand the business of the business that you're pitching your services for. So like when someone comes to me, I need to know that you understand our target audience. You already understand the type of content that we're producing. That way it will be easy for you to kind of picture out what we're looking for in terms of like the types of shows, the types of content. So basically it's kind of like the general tip for marketing in any marketing campaign. First, know your target audience. And in this case, your target audience is the business that you're pitching your video production. So that's the thing. Make sure video they're already producing, and if they're not producing any live video, then you can understand. You can even make your pitch much better because you can highlight the benefits of live video production. So the second thing is to make sure when you send your pitch through email, I would guess that it's usually through email or probably LinkedIn if you find it through LinkedIn lead generation. So I would start with introducing yourself and then being very clear of what you're offering and how you found this business. So also this is kind of in general like a lead generation outreach message. So just introduce yourself and be very clear what you're offering and have a very clear CTA as well. So hi, I'm Irene Chan. I'm the marketing manager at BeLive. I've produced like 20 plus shows in the past year. And I have some ideas on how I can help you get more leads through live video. And I'll be happy to discuss further what I can help you with if this is your, and I'm doing this on the fly. So like, and of course, feel free to edit like the general message, but that's how I would go about it. Just ask so the very clear CTA is that you can say, is this something that you'd be interested in? Would you like to jump in a call to discuss it further? So it's super simple. People like, one thing that I hate is reading very, very long emails. So like your value proposition and your CTA is buried somewhere there, and people won't take any action because they don't know exactly what to do. So if you can actually put a calendar link so that people can book you to learn more about this service, then I would totally do that. So that's the second step. The third step is, of course, coming prepared in the call. So if you do have booked someone for a call who is interested to work with you to produce their show, make sure that you come prepared. As I mentioned earlier, you should do your initial research, and you should be able to pitch some ideas on how you will actually do the live video production for them. And I would also make sure to encourage them to ask questions, because for some business owners, the reason why they want to have a live video producer is because they don't want to handle the technical stuff behind producing a live video. So I'm sure there will be a lot of questions. So sometimes I actually talk to newspaper organizations, corporate marketing managers from corporate companies, because they want to produce a show, but they need more assistance in terms of all of the technical stuff. So encourage as many questions as you can, and the main goal for that call is for you to understand why are they doing a live video and how you can help them deliver this goal for them. So are they doing a live video because they are launching a product? And if so, how can your live video production service help them reach this goal? So if you nail that in the call, then the potential client that you have will be in a very good position to make a decision. So yeah, I would end for the 3 steps, just because I think those are the best things that you need to nail. So first is to know your target audience. Second is to be very clear when you send your pitch. Be clear on what you're offering and the CTA. And once you get people interested, ask them how you can exactly help and provide specific ideas. So hopefully the Be Livers group, just search Be Livers on Facebook, basically.
But the Belivers group is, I'm just trying to get this. The Belivers group is a great place to get support, isn't it? And help.
Yes. Yeah. We get questions all the time for people on how to set up some stuff. If like they're doing a conference, how they can have multiple cameras. So I love to help people like provide suggestions around that.
Just going back to the pitch for a moment. When you said that people write pitches which are too long, what's the minimum that they need to put in? How do people catch your attention with a pitch?
Yeah, with a pitch, people can catch my attention if they know, if they exactly talking to me, they research who I am and what I'm in charge of, and you can tell if people research you ahead of time. So they know what kind. Like recently, I received a pitch for a blog post, and she knows what kind of blog posts we are already writing about, and she already sent the title of the blog post. So I immediately said it was, yeah, go ahead and send more details. This is something that we're actually looking for in our blog. So I know like this is example is for a blog, but it definitely works as well with live video production.
Brilliant. And the next thing is that you've encouraged, I've encouraged tens of thousands of people and millions of people who have taken up live broadcasting. They've got a skill set, which because they produce their own shows, they produce shows for other people, but there is no blueprint. There is no way of doing it. There's your own way. Do you have any tips for people on producing the show itself?
Yeah, I would say go through a lot of test broadcasts and practice like the flow of the show. You can practice it on a Facebook private Facebook group. So in that way, you can practice by yourself or with a friend, and just keep practicing. And I would usually have an outline, kind of like a storyboard on how things should look like. I usually have it in my head, but if you're working with a client, then you need to have it outlined. So yeah, once you have the outline, like test your outlines and keep practicing and keep producing. Steven, sorry, I forgot that I have a call. I kind of like, okay. I kind of got carried away with all the tips, but I hope we covered like the basics and best practices.
We've covered everything in best practice. Irene, thank you very much. We'll meet each other again soon. To everybody who's watched this short video, thank you, and take care.
Thank you, Steven. Have a great day. Bye.
You too. Bye. Okay, I'm going to say all that again. In live broadcasting, anything can go wrong, especially if you're not paying attention to all the controls, which is why it's good to have a show producer. And we've just been listening to Irene, who's based in the Philippines. She's the marketing manager of BeLive. And if you've got an idea for a blog, because BeLive got a blog post, always open to contributions, or an idea for a broadcast which helps promotes BeLive and you, then she told you how to approach her so you get her attention. And don't forget, if you want to speak to somebody BeLive, send the message to Irene, the email to Irene, and then include in that a link to your Calendly so that people can make an appointment with you to actually talk about your project. So it saves a lot of hassle. Calendly is wonderful because it allows you to set up times when you're free, and it allows people to book those times. So you know that you're doing it when you want to, and it means that the BeLive staff can actually contact you and talk to you at a time which you're already happy with. So use Calendly, it's free, and that's calend.ly. And it's great for actually doing appointments. As I say, Irene was there from the Philippines. I feel a bit like a VJ today, actually playing videos. I've got another video to bring up in a moment. Adair Palmer is based in Australia. She and I are firm friends going back to the days of Blab and the early days of BeLive in October 2016. We both started broadcasting on BeLive at the same time. We're both admins of the BeLivers group, so you can find us in there anytime. If you've got any questions about BeLive or live broadcasting, you can find me there on a Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern to answer your questions live. Today, we're talking about best practices when producing a show, and that's why this morning, my morning, Adaire and I got together to talk about live production. Now, apologies for the sound at the beginning of this. If you stay with us, it does settle down. And Adaire does have several stories to tell, which are of interest, are on point, are all about how to produce your show. Adaire came from producing the show straight to the interview. And we did this live this morning on BeLive. It's about 20 minutes long. So whilst I go and grab a coffee, I'm going to bring Adaire on screen, and I'm going to put Adaire full screen. And now I'm going to do what I forgot to do last time. I'm going to switch my microphone off and play the video. So this is semi-live. This was a few hours ago, and this is Adair Palmer in Australia, she'll explain, talking to me, and it's a fascinating 20 minutes. This, and Adaire and I have known each other, well, since Blab days, and certainly since Be Live went on Facebook. And Adaire is in Australia and produces shows for businesses out there. And we just get on so well. Hello, Adaire.
Hello, Stephen. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And you?
I'm well. It's so good to see you. It seems like ages that, because you're in the UK and our time zones are a little bit it's sort of crosswise, like it's really quite opposite, but it's really nice to actually make the time to catch up and to see you and say hello. So and I'm just saying, Adaire's in Australia, I'm over here, and you're sort of like over here somewhere.
That's right. I mean, we've got a 9-hour time difference, and we're going to prove that this is live because
I see
we've been
Ross
joined by
there.
Ross.
Hello, Ross.
And Adaire and Stephen. Thank you, Ross. Thank you for joining us. Right now, the whole theme of this week is show production, and from two sides. One, if you produce a show, what should you be doing? And two, if you're looking for somebody to produce your show, what should you be looking for, and what questions should you answer? Now, Adaire and I are going to concentrate on the first bit today the title that you came up with, Adaire, and I'm going to try and get this on screen if I can find my agenda, is, and hopefully it'll appear along the bottom there, 3 things you need to know to produce first-class live shows for us. Because basically what you're actually aiming to do is produce the best show you could do, isn't it?
That's right. That's exactly right.
Give everyone your best. Now, before you take on a production, do you actually have meetings with your client?
Well, the first thing is to really get to know your client. So you've got to have a detailed running sheet, and you don't do that without a conversation. So you do have to be on the same page, which is a running sheet. You just can't do it without, unless you're that tuned in with somebody that you're able to read their mind. And this is the ultimate goal, so that you can best serve them. But when you first start working with somebody, you absolutely have to have the meetings. You have to have the running sheet. We do a lot of work with people in terms of getting their content unpacked into some sort of content calendar. So if you were doing because a lot of people go, well, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what I'm going to say. So I have it's called a content planner calendar, and people are welcome to have a copy of that if you want, Steve, and afterwards, and we'll make sure you can get a copy. But what it does is it helps unpack that brilliance that's in your mind and put it onto paper. Well, a spreadsheet or a Google sheet, which is, paper in the tech age. And so once you've done that, you go through that process, and that's it can take to do a really good, solid content unpack from what's in someone's mind. You can do it it takes about 2.5 hours. And it is something that you really do need to know, because it's as someone who is producing a show for someone else, you really do need to be in their heads to make it work. So it's the first thing. I should have said the first thing to that is a content planner calendar, but unpacking it. But the running sheet is critical. If you don't have time to do unpack the content, have a running sheet at the very, very first thing that you both work on.
Right. So this is the start of working as a team rather than individuals. You're getting to know the people involved.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely have to get to know people. It's really critical, because you need to have that working relationship, and you need to know things that, especially if you're working with high profile people. And live broadcasting is a whole different beast from pre-recorded. And in my experience, Stephen, people have found that when you're broadcasting live, things can and do go wrong. And
Yeah.
so which actually brings me to step 2 is you must check the tech. So you really have to, when people say, oh, I don't really want to do live broadcasting because live broadcasting is something that is too unpredictable, there's too many things that could go wrong, and that's absolutely right. But the other side of that coin is there is too many things that can go right. There are so many ways that you can connect, like we did with Roz when she popped in and said, "G'day, Adaire and Stephen." That was live. Roz, well, that is live. Roz is we're able to talk to her in real time and be more inclusive. So when you're doing live, know who you're dealing with, have your running sheet, test your tech. Now, this again is just so critical, and there's a whole range of troubleshooting things that you can do in terms of having the from clearing your cache and the cookies on your browser to making sure that you're got the good lighting, the proper lighting, you've got decent equipment, and it's hooked up properly. I don't know about you, Stephen, but I know myself and Lottie at times. Hi to Lottie, because I know you're involved with this as well. Have started broadcast without the mics on. So testing the tech. Test your tech.
I mean, it is so important, especially with people. I mean, people are not they've not been doing this for too long. They're new to it, and you've got to lead them gently into it and make sure that everything's working.
You do, and there's even things like when I say testing the tech, it's like some people will have their camera at the wrong angle, and you feel like you're actually you're looking straight up their nostril, and the background. Oh, there was one live that I wasn't producing, but I was actually a guest on. And there was someone that was actually walking through, like in the door in the background, and it was very, very distracting. But, those sort of things, the tech for me is around having your mic right, having your lighting, your camera, your background, your setting, so that it is maximized or optimized for live broadcast. So that's for yourself and for the person that you're producing for, as well as any guests that they have. So it becomes more and more complex. And as you're dealing with people who are generally speaking not techie, you do have to dig deep to find patience.
Yeah, I remember we were doing an episode of Ask Angelica, and we were looking for guests, and we said, who would like to join us on the show? And there was a young man who was studying in Germany, learning German, but he was from the Far East, and he was living in a dormitory, in a dorm, and somebody was cooking in the background as the show was going on. But,
really?
But his camera feed was good and the sound was good, so in the end it worked out okay. But every so often you see somebody walk across the back. I mean, it's the best thing is if you can actually set aside an area, isn't it, where you can broadcast from. You don't need anything fancy. You just need it just be you, because when you get people going across in the background, it's for people watching. Whilst it's amusing, it's not. And as a producer, you want professional show, don't you?
Well, you want it to be as professional as possible, whether casting, and it is there. Like I said, there are things that can and will go wrong. But one of the most, a little bit of an aside here, but when I was watching the show, I wasn't producing, but I was watching a show where there was somebody who actually broadcast from their toilet. And they were not on the toilet, but they were in the bathroom, and you could see the toilet in the background. And I'm going, and it was a training video, and I'm going, wow, do you need some coaching? Having said that, it is really, really important to be aware of your surroundings. And as Stephen says, put aside a space where you can have something that's set up that you've got a bit more control over. So if you can, have a screen. I used to have a screen.
Which brings us into your third point.
Okay. So this is all tied in with the first 2 points, and it all runs through there. When you're producing a live for somebody else, you really do need to know them and their topic well. And as an example, I'm working with an amazing shaman, and we started with running sheets, and we started, well, this is probably, it was at the beginning of the year. He'd never done any live broadcasting. In fact, he barely knew how to turn on a computer. And now he is like, we're so in sync. I know his topics. I'm getting to know him, and when he's got lots of people in the news,
Right.
I know which ones people he's going to answer the questions, because I know him so well and we work so well together. That is an ideal situation when you can actually get to a point with a client in that relationship where you can actually anticipate what it is that they're going to be saying. And I would always suggest use a running sheet, but some people are harder to nail down than others to get a running sheet going. But when you've got a relationship like that and you're comfortable enough, and you can do a professional one, and you can actually, what's going to be coming up, and you can anticipate the questions that the questions he'll be asking, or the comments that he'll be referring to. And I'd have to say 98% of the time, I'm right on the money with that.
Yeah.
So really it does take getting to know your client that you're producing for, and absolutely focusing on them, a laser focus, because it is all too easy when you're producing a show to think, I might just run out and get a cup of tea, or,
Right.
they're talking.
When you're producing a show, you're not actually on screen, are you? I mean, you're
No.
producing for a client, they're the ones on screen, they're the talent, they're the ones delivering the content. And you're sat in the background, but you when you're on the screen, you know what you're doing. When you're producing a show, you've got to watch it more intently than you would do normally.
Yes, you do. You have to be totally in. And here's Sharon as well. Look at these, they're terrible too. Do they? Oh, I love those girls. Oh, and as an aside, Roz is actually producing. We're doing an expo on Sunday, the 6-hour live expo, which Roz is producing. And so we're all in this together.
It's true. I had the pleasure of chatting to Roz for half an hour earlier this year. In fact, probably several weeks ago. And the thing about live video, which I love, which is that people get on, people support each other, people barrack for each other, and do anything to make sure it was successful. There's no backbiting, there's no fighting. It's just of all the things I've been involved in, I think this is the most positive arena I've ever seen.
Yeah, it really is heartwarming, and the live streaming community is, just like you said, the most supportive and the most it just is an amazing place to be. And the beauty about this is that we are we don't physically see each other, but in the current environment that we're in, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's definitely, we can still get to know each other and support each other as well. Sharon's saying she loves it too, live video. Yeah, we want to see you up there more. Really do. Yeah. And Roz absolutely loves doing live streaming. Yeah.
Say yes.
I wanted to say, Stephen, I bought this. It's a Chrome plugin called Crisp. I don't know if you've heard of this.
Yes.
And I haven't used it yet. But what I do, I actually, just for a little context here, I live with my daughter and her partner and their 3 children. And sometimes it's like there's a herd of stampeding elephants upstairs, because I live downstairs and it's like wooden floorboards. And I thought, I wonder what I can do to help make the noise, because I've got the good mic, and then I thought, well, I'll put this plug in. And so, have you used Crisp?
Yeah, I do. It makes all the difference, because it, as you say, it cancels out the background noise, and it means you can be anywhere in the building, and whatever people do, especially do is the thing. If they drop something or they're playing music in the background, if you're playing music, we can't hear it, which to us is a boon. So yeah, I'm a Crisp addict too. It's Crisp with a K.
Yeah,
Crisp with a K.
Yeah, which I think is funny, because sometimes my daughter yells at the kids, and it's like, ooh, that doesn't sound. Yeah, I mean, that's I tell. Oh no, she's a wonderful mum. She really is. But I so need to scream that out. So I'll be experimenting with that for sure. But not that it's a problem when you're producing for somebody else, because you just make sure that you are muted. That's
true. Right. A final thought for everybody in Belivers, if you would.
Oh, a final thought. I think live streaming and producing live broadcasts is going to be a huge opportunity for people if you are looking for something that's actually going to help you with your live streaming, and maybe even career type, where it's an industry that is not even just started. Like, it's so new. The other thing is that the next step is to doing the live broadcasting for the small businesses and the smaller people out in the real world with a professional production look. So still sorting out like, for an example, we produced a live broadcast for a musical band earlier this year, and one of the last pub gigs that they did, we had some issues with audio, but this is going to be something that more and more smaller outfits are going to be looking for people to do, that is produced in a professional and a way that they can use YouTube and Facebook, because we all see the guys that have the bigger outfits, the more well-known people doing their productions and having them look very, very slick. But we can still do this with the right equipment. We can actually do this on the road as well. So it is something that is just starting. It's becoming, I think that there's huge opportunity globally, wherever you are. When the world opens up again, you want to be there at the forefront, because I think there is absolutely opportunity for everybody.
That's a good point. In that, I'm trying to press a button here, Adaire. We're live. I think that's a good point. That we've been in a situation where live video has never been in such demand, and we know that many people have started live broadcasting, gained a skill set, and we want to help you to actually make a living at doing this, because it is possible. You've got a skill set now, so you can produce shows for the people. I think that's going to be a growing area. Do you feel the same?
Oh, it's absolutely, it really is. And I know when I worked with, now you probably don't know Mark Holden, but he was a pop star in the 70s in Australia, and he was on a local TV daytime soap as well, and he was a Australian Idol judge in the 2000s, early 2000s. And so I did a project with him in 2018, and he just said, I don't want to do the doing. I just want to show up and do what I do and have someone else turn the knobs.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, is going to happen more and more. And I'm finding it right across the board, no matter what the industry, people are going, I just want you turn the knobs, I'll bring my brilliance.
That's it.
I don't want to have to worry about all that. So you become a very good knob turner and you can create yourself a career.
True. Very, very true. Adaire, thank you for, I mean, it's always great when we actually get together and chat, and for being part of, I mean, we're actually producing the live video production blueprint this week. Everything that was happening in our shows will become part of that document, and we know that Joe's taking care of that. Then Linda's writing a book, and we all get to be in the book. So these videos this week are actually the start of something, and it's been a pleasure to actually chat today, Adaire. Thank you.
And it's been a pleasure, Stephen. Thank you so much. And I do look forward to seeing you again and talking to you again very soon.
Oh, truly, truly. And do you want to give a shout out to anybody before we go?
Oh, well, I wasn't expecting that. So hi to my mum. No, she wouldn't be watching. I would like to say, Roz and Sharon, thank you so much for joining, and thanks for chiming in here. That's really cool because I love you girls and I really do love working with both of you. We do work together on different projects at different times. And like I said, with Roz, we're working together on Sunday for a project, an online expo. So I will do a shout out to you and to Sharon and anyone else who happens to be watching that's part of the community. Just, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Adaire. And take care, everybody. And Adaire and I will see you again soon. And Adaire, as Adaire suggested, she and I should get together and broadcast live again. But thank you for watching now. Take care, and we'll see you all soon. Bye. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear. I know what I said. So sorry to miss you, Adaire and Irene. I've been having live fun finding out how to add a second camera back to my nail studio so can COVID safe film guests with me. Team answer was set up another 3B Live account. Okay. There was a day when you could have 2 cameras on Be Live. You can't anymore. Right, and the no sound issue is particularly down to me. What I said, and I'll just recap on what I said a moment ago, and apologies for this. This is effectively my 3rd show today. I've still got 1 to go. And I wasn't watching the comments either. What I said was this, that I want to thank Adaire because it's 1 o'clock where Adaire is now. And if she'd have been live with me, it would have been going up to midnight when we finished. To Irene, thank you. Irene and I recorded yesterday. Both the videos you heard were on YouTube. You can play YouTube videos in your studio. And it's just been, I've been a VJ today and played their videos. The thing that I was saying though is that we're in a boom era for producers, but you really do need to get your act together, which is why Lottie and I and our 8 friends have actually got together to produce the live video blueprint, which will be available after we finish the shows this week. Yes. Okay. I think and basically I was going through my experiences of getting things wrong and how you should practice before you do a show. You should practice with your guests. You should practice on your own. You should make sure that you actually got all the assets for the show you produce in the day before. What you don't want is to get the images and videos that you're going to use in a live broadcast 20 minutes before you go live. You want them well before you go live. And you're hitting live video at the right time, but there is a way to do it. There's more than one way to do it. So we look forward to producing the PDF, which Joe is organizing, and that will be the blueprint for both producers and for potential clients. And it's something that doesn't exist. Producer doesn't know what to offer, doesn't know what to charge. Client doesn't know the questions to ask to make sure they get a good producer, and certainly doesn't know what to pay. And the prices I was quoted for a 30-minute show were between $75 and $500. Now, there must be a difference between the two. Hopefully this week we've explored that and found out what you can get for your money. Right, okay. So my tip of the day is when you're playing a video, switch your microphone off to make sure you don't get any echo. And thank you, Chris, for that. And the second thing is when you come back on screen after a video, remember to turn your microphone on. I had a blast for those 10 minutes waxing lyrical, and it's probably the best 10 minutes I've ever done, but you won't hear it, but you did hear a précis of it just now. Thank you for watching today. I said live again in 20 minutes on the same page, and I'll have a microphone. I'll have John Upton with me, and we will be telling you all about InVideo and how you can use InVideo to create your own short form business videos. Right, this has been Stephen in Wiltshire, with and without a voice. You've got to learn from your mistakes. We're all still learning. Things go wrong. When they go wrong, the main thing to do is to go to the comments and go, aha, and like a long time, Chris is saying, very long time with the interview with Adaire. It was, yes. That's because I didn't look at the comments. Coffee helps. I may go and get one. Okay. But hopefully, if you've been watching, then you got the message from Adaire. And right, okay, very kind of you. Right, okay. I'll catch you later for a better produced show. Thank you for watching. Take care. See you again soon.